Hello. So I am making this video about my hair. My hair is currently somewhere in the process of becoming dreadlocked, and I decided that I wanted dreads about a couple of years ago now, actually. I decided that I liked the look of dreads and I thought they were cool. I had never met anyone that I didn't think was cool who had dreadlocks, and I just thought that they were a neat alternative way to go. So I started researching what they were and what they meant and how to get them. And along that journey, I researched all the different methods to achieving dreadlocked hair, such as the twist and rip method and the backcombing method, and etc., etc. There's lots of them. Wax, rolling, salons, you can get dreadlocks lots of different ways. And what I realized while I was researching and through a few other things that were happening in my life at the same time was that one of the things that really attracted me to dreadlocks was the fact that they were alternative. And in that, I mean that they are alternative to the kind of cultural norms for hair that we see around every day. And I admit they are becoming a little bit more trendy. There's definitely a little niche forming for people with dreadlocks. It's this, new trendy thing to do is to get dreads. But that is really what convinced me to go with the neglect method for dreadlocking rather than having it done professionally or doing it myself through hours and hours of sitting, twisting and ripping and backcombing my hair into perfect little stylized chunks. What kind of caused me to choose to achieve dreadlocks through basically just neglecting my hair and letting it do its own thing is the fact that I really enjoy the idea that my hair is doing what it wants to do rather than what I'm making it do, and the fact that my hair isn't kind of being defined by cultural standards for beauty at the moment. It's being defined by what it wants to do rather than me combing it and brushing it and fluffing it and blow drying it and turning it into whatever magazines or TV tell me is the most appropriate style for the moment. So that's kind of my rationale behind why I am dreadlocking my hair. I just like the idea that our beauty doesn't have to be defined by the culture we live in, and it can be defined by who we are naturally and by our inner beauty and just who we are without trying too hard, basically. And so that's why I'm dreading my hair, and I don't always love it, to be honest. I don't always look in the mirror and go, oh wow, I look really hot today, look at my beautifully matted hair, that's just the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. But those kind of fundamental reasons about why I'm doing it and why I like dreads are kind of what spurs me on to keep going. And I feel like my personality really has come through in them, and that they are fun, and that they do get a lot of fun reactions from people, and some kind of disgusted reactions as well, but not as many as I thought I would get, to be honest. I get more positive feedback and comments on them than negative ones, which is really encouraging and which really just kind of affirms what I'm doing, and affirms the fact that my hair is beautiful on its own without having to buy expensive shampoos and products and whatever. Which brings me to how I kind of maintain my dreads. I don't do a lot to them. I wash my hair every week, at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And what I use is baking soda, about that much, in the bottom of a big plastic shaker cup filled with water. And then I use a couple of drops of Dr. Bronner's concentrated castile soap. I have lavender scented, but there's all different scents and kinds and varieties of concentrated castile soap, and I just put a few drops in there and I shake it up and dump it on my head and let it soak for a few minutes. rinse it off, and that's all I do. And then I let my hair dry, which is actually what I have the most trouble with, if anything, is making sure that these big, thick dreads at the back, because I sleep on the back of my head, these guys have dreaded up a lot faster than the sides of my head. I don't know if you can see this very well, but like these ones are really thick back here. They're getting to be quite chunky. They're about half the length of my, oh, which way does it go? Half the length of my regular hair, half the length that my hair was, maybe even less actually than when I started. And they are really dense and thick and have sucked up really quickly just because I sleep on them all the time. They get all that rubbing on the pillow at night, and yeah, they are hard to dry, these guys. I washed my hair about 10 hours ago now, and still when I squeeze them, I can feel dampness in the center. So if anybody is further along the dreaded journey than I am and has any insights as to how to make sure these guys dry thoroughly, I would really appreciate any feedback. We also live in a kind of humid environment, so it's pretty moist outside. Well, not humid, but moist outside most of the time. And so I am wondering if I should start using a blow dryer or something just to make sure that these guys stay really dry so they don't start doing anything they shouldn't at the center. But as of now, I get a lot of questions about, you know, does your hair stink, or aren't they starting to rot, or blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And the truth is that no, my hair doesn't smell like anything besides hair and lavender for the first little while after I wash it, but that fades pretty quick. It smells like hair, and it smells like clean hair because it is clean hair. Honestly, my roots, they haven't started dreading yet because they were a lot healthier before I started than the bottom part of my hair. And they just take a lot longer to dread up than the rest. But you can tell by looking at my roots that my hair is clean and healthy. It's shiny. And feels really soft and smooth, and the way that normal clean hair does feel. My hair's not dirty. Dreaded hair actually, clean hair actually dreads faster than dirty hair. Oily hair doesn't stick together very well. I don't know if you've noticed that after going days without showering and your hair gets really oily, it doesn't mat. Yeah, that oil acts as a conditioner. So I keep my hair clean, and it's not rotting, and it doesn't stink, and it's really easy actually to maintain because you don't really have to do anything besides what I just described in washing it. Other than that, I just rip apart. If they start sticking together, especially in the back, because they tend to do that when I'm sleeping and stuff, I just kind of pull them apart to make sure that they don't stick together into kind of one giant dread. I have about 40 or 50 like pretty well-defined dreads at the moment, and then lots of loose hair as well. So yeah, I just kind of pull them apart, make sure they don't stick together, and that's about it as far as maintenance goes. And I really didn't do a lot with my hair before it was dreaded. It would often just be hanging or up in a ponytail, and I can do everything with it now that I could before. And it's actually easier because I don't even need a ponytail, because I can, as you saw at the beginning of the video, my hair was up, and I can often just twist and put it up without a ponytail and just twist it and tie it up there, and it stays, which is really handy. And other than that, it just kind of hangs out and does its thing. So I just really wanted to encourage anyone who's looking at dreadlocks to look into the neglect method, and by that I mean basically just stop brushing and conditioning your hair and see what happens. I kind of entered the whole thing with the perspective that at any time if I hated it or I changed my perspective on what I was doing and why I was doing it and I wanted to do something different, I could just comb it out. And that is true, actually. Even with these gnarly guys, I've been told that, you know, like a lot of conditioner and a couple of hours in front of the TV with a hair comb and you can get it out. So it doesn't mean that you have to shave your head if you change your mind. And I figured it was worth trying. And if I really hated it, I could, you know, go back and put a few in using some other method. But the further I get along, the more I realize that that's not what I want to do, and that's not the reason that I want dreads. I don't want them just to be another trendy style. I just really love the fact that my hair is doing what it wants to do. And just as an example, when I stopped brushing my hair and stopped conditioning my hair, I put in one dread through the twist and rip method, and it was on this side of my head. And now I am almost 6 months in, and I honestly, like, it only took about 3 months before I totally lost sight of which one it was. I don't know which one I started with the twist and rip method and what ones have just normally formed on their own. So that kind of just goes to show how quickly dreads can form if you just leave your hair alone. Yeah, I don't know which one it was. But yeah, so I don't know what that proves. Just the fact that you don't need to do anything to it to have fun, awesome dreads. If you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I would love to hear from you. And if you are also neglect dreading your hair, I would love to hear from you and what your experience has been as well, especially with drying and with how quickly these little back ones are sucking up and becoming little dread monsters back there. I would love to hear from you. Alright, thanks you guys. See you later.